Okay, hear me out. What if Star Wars was actually a metaphor for the fall of Tartaria? Now, obviously, Star Wars is a mythic sci-fi narrative and the Tartarian story is an alternative history. But let's break it down because there are some interesting parallels. In a world before recorded history, according to both narratives, there existed a vast, harmonious civilization that spanned the globe. In Star Wars, this was the Old Republic, an era of peace and unity before the business of war and politics corrupted it. And in the Tartaria story, it was the harmonious era of the Tartarian Empire, a time of great art and technological advancement, cathedrals, giant doors, free energy spires all across the land. In both stories, these golden ages were cut short by a sudden, dramatic fall. In Star Wars, the Republic fell to the dark side, taken over by the Sith, who established an evil galactic empire. And in the Tartarian narrative, the empire was destroyed in the 1800s or 1900s, supposedly wiped away by catastrophic mud floods, wars, fires, and deliberate resets. In both cases, much of the old wisdom and surviving knowledge was deliberately suppressed, rewritten, or hidden away. In Star Wars, the Jedi were forced underground, their teachings forbidden or destroyed. And in the Tartarian story, those who survived the fall and carried the flame of the old wisdom were branded crazy, ignorant, or dangerous. Their knowledge of free energy, healing tech, and advanced architecture was suppressed and eventually became dismissed as mere myth. In both stories, the death of the old way of life was not just physical but mental, a deliberate campaign to erase, rewrite, and distort the past. In Star Wars, the Empire created a false narrative that made the Jedi seem like a bunch of weirdos, cultish figures from a forgotten past, when in reality, they were the heroes who had kept the peace. And in the Tartarian story, the powers that be, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and their ilk, painted a picture of a world where Tartaria never existed, erasing it from textbooks and maps and making it seem like the idea of Tartaria is some kind of crazy delusion. Yet despite the Jedi and the Tartarians being hunted, beaten down, and living in fear, hope flickers on in both stories. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker and a few companions fight to restore the truth about the Jedi, to bring back balance to the Force. And in the Tartarian story, researchers and truth seekers keep digging, unearthing artifacts, photos, documents, any scraps of evidence they can find to prove that